Hey y'all, so in this video I want to talk about getting rejected from a job. So now that it's been a year since I've been a pharmacist, I have had multiple interviews for different jobs, and I wanted to, share my experience about, how that process has gone and share some tips on what you should do, even when you don't get the position. Y'all know about my experience about getting the job at the hospital and in retail, but I never really shared about like some of the rejections that I've received from different jobs. One that was like a stinger, that was really hard. I applied for a pharmacist position at a children's rehab center, and it seemed like the perfect job as far as like the hours, as far as like the roles, as far as just like the environment and just like the position itself. It just seemed like a perfect fit for me. And crazy thing is, I had applied to this job and I was just like, I don't think that I have like all the requirements. I don't think that, that's like I would even get an interview, but I was like, apply. And I encourage all of you, like, even if you don't feel like you have all the requirements, like still apply to the job. So I applied, and like weeks later, I get a call from, the place, and I was like, what? And like I had like a phone interview right then and there with like the HR person, and it was great. It was just like a conversation. Like it didn't feel like an interview. We were just chatting about life and stuff. So then she was like, yeah, we definitely want to have a second interview, this time with like the pharmacy director. And I was just like, okay, like, this is going well. Had the interview with the director. It went great. Same thing. It was like a conversation, just, sharing everything and just answering their questions, just having a good time. Like one of the things that I love to do in interviews is, and this also helps me to not be nervous, is to just have a conversation. Like don't feel like you have to just be very like, and this is why I do, like, to do that. Like just be yourself and just be comfortable and just be like, I don't know how to explain it, but just like how I talk to you in my videos, like that's how I am in job interviews, and that's how I am just on the daily. So yes, we had the second interview. It went well. Like the HR person, because the HR person was there with the director, she called me like right after, and she was just like, hey, it went well. We want to get an interview with the pharmacy team. I was like, okay. Like at this point, I'm like, okay, I definitely got this job. Like I got it. And had the interview with the team. It was great. I asked them questions. They asked me questions. We were talking. We were laughing. It was great. And then the HR person was like, you'll be hearing from us like really soon. After the second interview, they wanted my references. So like I had sent all of those in. I was like, this is definitely gonna work out. I just remember praying on it, and it was funny because I was driving to work and I went like a different route one time, and I was just like, why did my GPS take me this way? And it's funny because I literally passed the center, like where the job was, and I was like, God, this is you, So I was so excited. And then it was like a week went by, I didn't hear anything. And I was just like, I don't know, like what's going on? And then I got an email letting me know that they decided to go with someone else for the position. Aww. And that was so hard to read. I took it a little hard, I'm not gonna lie, because this position just seemed perfect, but y'all know how I am as far as like, trusting that whatever God has for you, it is only for you. And so he knows and he understands why, certain things didn't work out. He understands like why certain opportunities fall through. Like, he understands, he knows the reason, and that's all I need to trust and worry about. He sees the bigger picture that I don't see. So if it didn't work out, there is good reason. So, but it was just a shock because I was just like, everything just seemed like it was going so well. So after all of that, I respond back like, thank you so much for the opportunity, because either way, it was good experience for me to have more interviewing opportunities under my belt, and just to have that exposure. So even after the interview, or after that email, I sent an email back saying thank you so much for the opportunity. It was so great meeting all of you. If you have a moment, I would love to receive some feedback on my interviewing skills, if there's anything I can improve on. I'm always looking for ways that I can improve myself for the future. So, I would love to, receive feedback in that area. And the next day, the HR woman called me, and she was like, I'm so sorry. The system sent that email to you. It wasn't, it was automated. So I'm sorry, I wanted to call you personally and tell you, which it was totally fine. I was like, that's fine. And she was just saying, she was like, everything went well. The team liked you. It was great. They just decided to go with someone who had more experience. And I can't compete with that. Yeah, definitely go with the person that has more experience for sure, especially if everything else is great, So, so that was just a little hard. And I was like, man, I was so close to a full-time job. But at the end of the day, I didn't feel bad, because I'm just like, you know what? I'm at a position where I have multiple jobs. So as far as money goes, I'm not concerned. Obviously, I would like to have a full-time job to not have to work so many jobs, even though I probably still will work the other jobs, but just so that I can be a little bit more proactive when it comes to paying off my student loans and just putting down even more each month. But I was just like, you know what? God's timing is perfect, so I'm not even gonna question it. But anyways, I say all this to say, some of the tips that, I can share from what I've learned from getting rejected from jobs is that it's always, always, always important to remain professional. After you have an interview, it is I think it's kind of like a given nowadays, but it's so important to send in a follow-up email saying hey, it was great meeting with you. I really enjoyed this, that, and the third, and mention something specific that you talked about in the interview. You can say, I really like how you talked about the company's goals and plans. This really aligns with some of the values that I have, stuff like that, some key things. And it's important also, when you're having an interview, to write down these things so you don't forget it, so you can include it in the email. But yeah, send a follow-up after the interview. And even when you don't get the job, don't just leave it there, because you never know what opportunities can open up in the future. So my recommendation is to always remain professional. Don't be salty or petty. But, whether it's a phone call or email, just thanking them for their consideration of you, thanking them for the experience and the opportunity, and asking for feedback. And this can show them that you are dedicated to being to bettering yourself and to growing, and to really just become an overall better pharmacist, or whatever job it is that you are looking for. So that's something that is really huge, and I wanted to share in this video. And same happened with another job I had applied to. I had an initial interview, I had a second interview, I did a follow-up email, and I just didn't hear anything. And that happens sometimes too. It's okay. It's not the end of the world, but like I said, always remain professional, because like I said, you never know what positions open. At the Children's Rehab Center, they were like, we're gonna keep your resume on file for the future. She was just like, I'm sure that by that time, you will already be established in a great position somewhere, but we will hold your resume. So yeah, that's some of the biggest tips I can share. After you get that rejection, it can suck. Especially if it's a job that you really wanted or thought that you wanted. it can be hard, and it was a little hard, but one of the biggest things is that, you know, if God needs you somewhere, you'll be there. No matter what, you'll be there. And I've seen it happen, which is why I can confidently say that. And so whatever job it is, wherever you're supposed to be, you will be there because God needs you to be there. He will make the path, He will lead the way, and He will guide you to where you need to be. So I'm not stressed over it. I'm not stressing, but it's always important to be professional. And I think it's always important to just ask for feedback on ways that you can improve and take that into consideration for your next interview or opportunity that you come across, because you never know, it could come in handy. So that's my tip. Pretty straightforward. I just wanted to just share my experience and share, you know, how I can help you, for those of you who are in pharmacy, who are about to go into the job market. Like, these are really important things to know and to do to really help advance you in your career. So I'm, you know, learning and growing and sharing as I'm learning and growing. So comment below any tips that any of you have when it comes to job interviews, or any thoughts or any other questions that you may have that you want to know about, you know, being a pharmacist, getting jobs, interviewing world. Like, I'm more than happy to share and help y'all out, because that's, you know, one of the main reasons why I started this channel. So let me know. So y'all already know the deal. You can comment below, or you can email me at behismasterpiece@gmail.com. Go out, be kind, be caring, be loving, and as always, be his masterpiece. Bye, y'all.